Hello, this is reading for Aquarius. We're recording readings today for no reason whatsoever, just recording them. So if you found this on YouTube, welcome in and come check out the stream. We hang out there quite a bit and it's a lot of fun. We're just going to do a few cards for you, see what's going on. We weren't just making a bunch of jokes about you, Aquarius. That's not what was happening. We were making a bunch of jokes about Aquarius. It's just so easy to razz ya. The Wheel and the Judgment. Justice. Okay, and so we haven't done the Libra reading yet. But I've been growing this sense of that the last reading, the previous reading that we did for Virgo, was about justice. So you might want to go back to that, and also the Libra reading. There's something I've been getting this sense that Libra's got something to say about a situation or problem or a dilemma, like a solution to a complicated problem, like that. There's a message from way earlier that if you have something and you're confused about it and you're trying to solve it, like make sure you account for your confusion. We generally forget to account for the fact that we're confused, and that's like a part of things or something like that. Very different energy in this. I can tell you that. Aquarius. I know this is Justice is a Libra card, but it's an air card nonetheless. Very level-headed about something in particular. There's a level head that everybody takes a chance and everybody experiences the results of that chance. And it's kind of a part of playing the game. You spin the wheel and it's out of your hands. Five of Wands. And that's what came up for you right before we started recording, is the Five of Wands, like some kind of a struggle. Struggle with what was somebody else's hand. Okay, what was handed to someone? Oh, and the Lover's card. So yeah, I do feel like that last reading, this might be an extension of that reading. Although it doesn't feel nearly as like specific. It feels much more general. I see for you some clarity in the general atmosphere of struggling with what other people you care very much about are handed. This is like sympathy. This is compassion. And it's like, I can't believe that happened to them. That is so... Not wanting for bad things to happen to people, or not wanting for certain things to happen to certain people when it's just a matter of chance. There's acceptance that everybody spins the wheel. When you spin the wheel, it's out of your hands, but there's still a struggle with some of the options of what comes up on the wheel. Do we have to have those options on the wheel in the first place? The Lovers is like a respect for their choice to spin the wheel, to take the chance, but that doesn't mean, just because we respect somebody's choice to take a chance doesn't mean that we like when certain things happen. Three of Pentacles. Ooh, I like how this lines up. That's very satisfying. So there's something about things just lining up just right. I would see you hanging a picture on a wall. And it's like so satisfying when you get it just right. If you're that kind of person, you're probably not very happy with the camera angle right now in this background. But we do our best, okay? What's really interesting is I see Three of Pentacles. It's like somebody asked you what they should do. in a situation where, and we said this before we started recording as well, that Aquarius just like kind of knows stuff and nobody else knows that stuff, and it's a bit isolating at times to be someone who knows more or who understands more, because other people don't understand you. And it's like somebody asked you for advice about something that you just inherently know is just, once they take their hands off the wheel, it's just a matter of chance. You know that, but they're asking for advice, which doesn't line up with the chance part. It's almost like they don't know that they're taking a chance, and they're not. This looks like someone who isn't quite as aware as you are about the concept of probability, and maybe hasn't developed a grasp of how to handle the pressure of probability. Like, we can say, what's the best way to go? But when you already know that it's something that is subject, I'm getting a firm ringing in my left ear. That tone, whatever it is. When you already know that it's something that's completely out of their control once they spin the wheel, it's almost like, what's the point of asking? You're invoking a certain probability. Sometimes people ask for advice when the advice is, what do you think is going to happen? You're just subject to whatever. Like, it's like somebody saying they're shaking dice in their hands and they're about to shoot at a craps table. And they're like, when should I let go of these dice? And they're asking you to give them the moment of letting go of these dice. And what you know already is that that's just a matter of probability right there, no matter when you let go. So the question is, why are they asking you? Maybe it's because they don't understand how probability works, but a little part of me feels like that's somebody who's passing the buck on to you so that you can be responsible for whatever outcome is on the other side. Somebody will ask you for advice in a moment when you already know that it's pure chance they're playing with. And it can be just a lovely person. And they can have the best intentions. And what it is they just don't know. The Eight of Wands, like, they're trying to make things happen. And they're taking a risk, or they're taking a chance, or they're playing the game, they're spinning the wheel. They're doing the thing. So, like, there's something like automatically, like, if this is someone you care about, if this is someone you respect, somebody making an effort to take a chance to do something, they're doing the thing. Good for them. But then there's this little screwdriver moment when somebody tries to get you to take responsibility for the outcome of something that they're taking a chance on. By asking you for advice. When should I do it? You're so good at this. When can I do this? What should I do? What I see is that you may have recently entered into some kind of or at least given someone a piece of your mind, or given someone your resistance, like not offered someone advice. Or if you have offered someone advice, it's like kind of, the Five of Wands is like resisting. The advice might have been to resist the probability of certain outcomes. Six of Wands, I'm getting like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because you're successful, this is something that you're good at. Or this is something, somebody's taking a chance on something that you, and they're headed toward, they want to be like you. But they ask you for this advice when the advice should be, you'll have to find out. So I'm seeing like you're giving a form of resistance to your level of expertise or your success story. Like someone's admiring you for your success, but sometimes when you're successful, people will use that as like try to piggyback or ride on your coattails. This is the energy of somebody who is trying to get you to own the consequences of their choices because they admire you. It's a weird thing, but I think I get it. Yeah, in the Tower. Okay, so this is something that has the ability to kind of like split things apart. Like this is where you're separate from others. Like this is what might isolate you from others or from this particular person. It's an isolating experience. I'm seeing like celebrity, like you have some level of fame or something. And I'm seeing that where you can't relate with your fans is when they start doing this. And maybe this is a message for anybody who interacts with somebody of celebrity status, that if you want to know what makes you so annoying, take it from this Aquarius here, who is saying what is really annoying is when people try to ride on your coattails, when people try to get you to take responsibility for the things that they just need to go through in order to get to where I got to. Or maybe even like you might not know how you got to where you went. You might not know what you exactly did. You might have been a lot of trial and error, and half the time it was just pure luck. You know, luck of the wheel. And so for somebody to ask you for the formula of how to get to where you are, it would require you to basically forego the gratitude for the luck of the wheel, the luck of the draw. And also like to acknowledge here, Justice card, the Tower. Who knows why you went and they didn't? Who knows why you got in and they didn't? Who knows why you got the job and they didn't? Who knows why? And I can go on forever and ever about these great opportunities that you get, Aquarius. It's not fair. There's struggling that some people, it's not fair that some people don't get what you get. It's so true. But if you really stop and think about it, this struggle that we might have with other people's kind of outcomes, if we take something from this, if we start from a place of like, okay, there's definitely something wrong with this. There's definitely something shady going on when somebody's trying to like get you to take responsibility for what you already know is pure chance. And isn't it weird how Aquarius is the last one, the first one to understand so much stuff, but generally the last one to understand this because of that water bearer thing, the empathy that's available for Aquarius energy is huge. Don't forget, Aquarius. It's shady. It's a shady thing to do. To try to make somebody take responsibility for matters of chance. Before we got into this, we had this structure here, and it's hard to digest when other people's outcomes are not what you would want for them. Don't forget that it's shady, Aquarius. Even if you're doing it to yourself, it's still shady. It's shady to put onto you the expectation that you should be able to take responsibility for a matter of chance. And not only that, it prevents us from having gratitude and actually recognizing our privilege in certain situations, right? So don't forget that it's shady. Just don't forget. Remember, you deserve what you have because there's that very real fact that there's a moment when somebody activates their access to the fruits of chance. Somebody would have to spin the wheel in order to get there. You have to take a risk. And so you took a risk and you got there. So you did your part. And just don't forget to acknowledge that some of it had nothing to do with you, but you definitely wouldn't have gotten there if you hadn't taken that risk. And then the other thing is when you're seeing somebody else who has spun the wheel, taken the risk, and not gotten to the same place as you, that can't be something that you can correct. Because if you try to correct it, then all yourself kind of like or maybe there is a way to correct something like that, correct for something like that, but maybe it's not like it can't rest on one person. There's this idea here, the Three of Pentacles, riding on your coattails and kind of avoiding taking the risk, you have to take the risk, and taking a risk involves accepting the outcomes. But sometimes the game's rigged, and that's where I'm kind of making a mistake in this reading. Sometimes the game's rigged. Sometimes the game is rigged to give you better outcomes than others. And maybe what I'm doing here is I'm just repeating the whole thing and wait a minute. Justice is where we started. Sometimes the game is skewed and just taking a risk is not enough. And maybe there's something that you're going to be doing in the near future to try to put your part in, recognizing that you have some form of privilege that got you there by pure chance, that maybe you recognize other people don't have access to. I don't know. Aquarius energy. This is a big topic. And look at how, I'm so all for it. And I just spent so much time ranting about this kind of stuff in a previous reading. And I was so quick to miss it. Still. What was that reading for anyway, Aquarius? I don't know. You take it from here. You've got the, I'm sorry I can't understand all the way. And best of luck to you. Oh. And thank you, I guess, is what it is. Thank you. This is a thank you from the cards. Thanks for watching and take much care. Come visit us.